He conquered the world with code, built an empire that changed human life forever. But as years passed, one truth began to haunt him: time doesn't fear even the smartest man alive. This is the untold story of Bill Gates versus time. In the mid-1980s, a young Bill Gates stood at the center of a technological revolution. His vision wasn't just to sell computers, it was to put one on every desk in the world. Every line of code he wrote carried a spark of destiny. Microsoft wasn't just a company, it was a prophecy unfolding. People saw him as a machine, a genius who turned logic into gold. He slept less, worked endlessly, and thought only in algorithms. The world celebrated his brilliance, but few knew the cost behind that success. While his empire expanded, his clock kept ticking. Time, quiet and invisible, followed him like a shadow. In his 30s, he was untouchable, the youngest billionaire, the king of software, the face of modern innovation. But even kings must face the truth: every empire fades. In meetings, he noticed younger engineers thinking faster, speaking in languages he didn't fully understand. The tools had changed, the world he built was evolving without asking for his permission. Gates would smile politely, but inside, a strange unease grew. Am I still ahead of time, he wondered, or has time begun to run ahead of me? Years rolled by like silent storms. The internet grew, new companies rose: Google, Apple, Facebook, each rewriting the rules he once made. He was no longer the face of innovation, he had become its memory. Reporters now asked about the past, not the future. That realization cut deep. For a man who had always lived 10 years ahead of everyone else, slowing down felt like defeat. He left Microsoft's daily operations, focusing on philanthropy, but inside, a whisper echoed: will the world remember me for what I built, or forget me for what I stopped building? He saw young CEOs dominating headlines, their startups celebrated as the new revolution. Elon Musk was sending rockets to space. Mark Zuckerberg was connecting billions. Even kids in garages were building apps overnight. Gates, once the unstoppable genius, now watched innovation from the sidelines. One evening, while sitting by the lake at his Medina home, he stared at the sunset's reflection on the water. The golden light reminded him of the glow of old computer screens, the same glow that once kept him awake for nights. I used to chase the future, he thought quietly. Now I'm watching it run ahead. That thought hurt more than failure ever could. Because when time overtakes genius, it doesn't scream, it simply moves on, leaving silence behind. But time, for all its cruelty, also teaches. Gates realized that relevance isn't measured by headlines, it's measured by impact. Maybe he couldn't build the next big app, but he could still change the world in another way. Through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, he began fighting diseases, funding education, and bringing clean water to villages that had never even heard of Microsoft. He no longer chased time, he used his time to make life better for others. In helping humanity, he discovered something more powerful than innovation: purpose. One day, during a college speech, a student asked him, "Mr. Gates, do you ever wish to be young again, to build like you used to?" He smiled and replied, "I don't want to relive my past. I want to make my future matter." The hall erupted in applause, but behind the calm voice was a man who had finally made peace with the clock. The fear of losing relevance had faded because he had learned a secret truth: you never lose relevance if your work continues to help others. As he watched new generations of thinkers rise, he felt pride, not jealousy. Time hadn't defeated him. It had simply given him a new mission. When night falls over his quiet study, Gates still sometimes looks at his old code, those lines of logic that changed the world, and smiles. The world may forget the details, but the echo of his vision lives in every screen, every app, every touch of technology today. And perhaps that's the victory he never needed to prove. Time takes away everything: fame, power, even memory. but it can never take away impact. Bill Gates learned that true success isn't outpacing time, it's leaving something behind that time can never erase.